Hello, this is Mark Snyder with Worship Song Band, and I'm going to go over some library management features of Worship Song Band. So, this is the library page of Worship Song Band. This is the zip files that make up the songs in that library. So, you have always had the feature in Worship Song Band. The way that it works is that all of the audio tracks for a given song are in a zip file along with a text file. That is what the program loads and displays. And these zip files are what you move around between devices. And when you buy a song that's already in Worship Song Band format, such as from Guide Tracks or Worship Backing Band, the zip file that you get goes into your library folder and can be used by the program. So you will download the file and drop it in this folder on each of your devices. Um, and so that's always been the case on iTunes. You've always had to go through iTunes file sharing to do that. On iOS 11 and Worship Song Band 4, that's no longer true. You can download directly to your device and copy the file into your library folder by opening up the Files app. You'll see the library folder in there on iOS 11, and you can just move it directly there. So it's no longer necessary to use your PC to get content into your iPad. So that's new in version 4. Um, and so typically on Android, there's a folder created called Worship Song Bands, and you can find it in a file browser on Android. You can also see that folder by plugging your Android device into your computer, and you'll see when the directory structure pops up, you'll see Worship Song Band, and you can copy stuff in that way. I'm going to turn on this network mode here. On the right is a copy of Worship Song Band in client mode. Um, so when in client mode is basically when you're using Worship Song Band in a network. So like you're using one copy of Worship Song Band to do your audio and lyric display, and then you've got tablets on the screen that are being used also. And so what we've added for this, and so when you're in client mode, the library here is the songs from the library here. It's not actually the library that's on this device. It's a list of the songs that are on this device. And that's there for a couple of reasons. So I can load a song, I can play a song, and so on. But also it's there so that I can do this. I clicked on In Christ Alone here. That is the file WSB in Christalone.zip, which only exists on the master. A file by that name does not exist on this network client. But if I want that file over here, I can just say copy to library. It will copy that file over. You can see my progress bar here. That file is now in the library on this device, and I can load it. And the other reason you want to do that is with our synced audio mode, which is a new feature for version 4. You want to have the audio on that local device so that you can run your personal band mix over and hear the audio through your personal headphones if you're using that. So this copy facility is there for that. So that's pretty convenient way without dealing with library folders, just to go between copies of the app. There's one more feature that we've also added, which is handy, and that's the ability to share sets. So what this is for is if you build a set on one device, or you have the set you want on one device, and then you want to use that set on another device, the way with what I just showed you, the way you would do that is you can copy all the songs over, and then copy the OSL file over, and you could do it that way. But that's that could be streamlined quite a bit, and that's kind of what we've done here. So the way I would do this is on any of my worship song band copies. This is really independent of network mode now. You don't have to be in network mode to do this. You can just be running in two independent copies of worship song band. So I can turn network mode off now. So now it doesn't really have to go off, but I'll turn it off anyway. So anyway, so click this menu here that says Save. Give the set a name. Okay, I clicked Save Set List, and now on my list of saved sets, I've got this test set 3 here. If I click on that, I get this export choice. If I click export, here's what I have. Test set 3, export cancel, export pads, and export video. So what this function is going to do is export all of the songs and the OSL file, and if I click pads and videos, any pads and videos that are referenced by the presentation entries for this set list. And so that's useful to excuse me. That's useful if you want to build your set at home on your laptop and then move it to your church computer. You can build everything that goes with that set, including the pads and videos, and put a complete copy of that set and everything that it references onto that computer. So that's why you would want to do pads and videos. If you're just doing audio, like for your team, you would just export the audio and maybe the pads if you wanted that. If I click export, I now have this file called testset3.osz, and you can see its size. It's 194 megabytes. That's everything in that set, and the OSL file is in that OSZ file. Then I can transfer that OSZ file to another device, and then I can do the import. So I'll do it over here just to show you. You'll see like OSZ files here, like Sunday.osc. If I click import, I basically will pull everything that I exported into the library on this machine, and it'll be ready to go. So that's how I could do an import basically, and I can move that OSC file the same way I would move a zip file. I just can't do anything with it until I import it. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is this little window called Send Anywhere. So Send Anywhere is an app that is put out by these people in Korea called Estmom. You can see it here. And what this app does is it's kind of like the anti-cloud app. And what I mean by that is that instead of having a centralized location where you put stuff like a Dropbox or iCloud or OneDrive or Google Drive, or even some track app providers cloud system where you have to upload in everything to be able to use it. This enables much more decentralized file storage management operations. And the way it does it is it basically is an app. It's a website, but it's also an app that you can install on any of your devices. There's an Android version, iOS version, Mac, PC, Linux, all that stuff. We don't have a Linux, but all the rest of those we run on. So, and what this app does basically is it lets you do easy file transfer between all of your devices very quickly. Um, and so what we're really enabling here is for the data, in this case your set, to go between copies of Worship Song Band without really putting it in any kind of mechanism that does a sync for you that is on all your devices. I mean those services are nice, but this I think is actually, once you do it a couple times, is way more streamlined. So the way this works is I can go to that OSZ file that I made right here. I can drop it on Send Anywhere. So two things happen here. The first thing is I get this code and this Q code. Um, this code, I can go into the app on any of my devices within 10 minutes in this case, punch in that code, and it will do a peer-to-peer file transfer of whatever I dropped in there onto that device. So I can take the whole set and put it on all my devices as long as I enter that code. But that's only within 10 minutes. So that's useful for some things. Like if you want to give the set to your whole team, like just say, hey, I'm going to put it in Send Anywhere, go download it, you're good. But if you want to be able to link that and use it, you can hit this Share Link button. And what happens now is it's uploading that set to the cloud. It's uploading it to a temporary cloud location that's a PHP 256 encrypted and secured, that will keep your content in the cloud for 48 hours and then it'll disappear after that. So it's a temporary cloud storage location with a length that lasts 2 days. And then what you can do with that is send this link to anybody. They can click it, go into the app, the file will download into the app. And then once you're in this app on any of your devices, like if you're on Android or iOS, once you download the content, you'll click it and it'll say, where do you want to store that content? You just navigate to the Worship Song Band folder and save it there, and then run the app and import it, or just start using the songs or whatever. So what we basically done is enabled, what this combination of things does is enable the decentralized library management, but letting you sync stuff together so that you always have the right content in the libraries, but it's never centralized in any one place. And that's kind of a cool thing, because it keeps with our philosophy that you're in control of your library, you're in control of where you want it, how it's used, and so on. So yeah, those are the library management features that we built into Worship Song Band to help you manage the library. Actually, there is one more thing I'll show you, and that's this. On each platform, when you're not in network mode, you see this mark for deletion button over here. And the reason that's there is, obviously, if you are using Worship Song Band over any length of time, your library is going to get pretty big because you're constantly copying sets into it and so on. And so what this feature does is you can basically go through your library, click mark for deletion, they won't be deleted right then, but when you exit the program, those files will be deleted from your library, and they're gone. So you can't get them back once they're deleted, but you can obviously get them back by re-importing or doing whatever you want. So it's just a way to manage your library to keep it less cluttered. We added that little delete capability into the program. So thank you for listening, and good luck managing your library with these new features. I think you'll find it very useful.